should be live. Good afternoon, or morning, or evening, wherever you are. It is Sunday, lazy Sunday, which is good. First things first, before we get into our, oh wow, I guess there's a mess. That's okay. Before we get into that, before I zoom that in, let's go ahead and check our Sunday preview. What we've got here. Sorry, I'm failing to get my technical difficulties in order here. Yeah, I've got a thing for that. Womp 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 womp. Technical difficulties. As I get up the actual web page. Okay, what is it? Display crafter. Okay, there we go. Add new display crafter. After method. Oh, not that one. There we go. Wacha. Hey, there we got it. Alright. Now, for those of you who weren't here Thursday, we did kind of figure out the audio, or the music thing. So, now we have some music. More fantastic art. Yes, my hand-drawn. Alright, so Sunday preview. Chaos reigns in the world of legend. Chaos warriors continue, blah, 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 blah. Alright, so Lord on Chaos Dragon. So this is a new kit, and I want it. Yeah, you know, as the opinion of miniatures rundown, that dragons are cool. Or maybe just me, I don't know. But this is a new plastic kit for Old World, for the Chaos guys, and man, this is great. Both the two-headed version, yeah, wow. I'm gonna get one of these. I hope it's not too expensive. I hope it's not as expensive as the Yao Ming. We've also got Champions of Chaos. It's the thing they do where they, like, put the foot hero and the... I don't know. It's a weird thing to do. I don't mind it. I know that's very fitting for Old World, so it's fine. They look great. Hello, Duke Muzi. Hello, King of the Monkeys. Chaos Warriors. These are new Chaos Warriors. It's an updated sculpt that is just still designed to fit on the square bases, which is nice. Old World Chaos Knights. Same thing. Updated sculpt. And this is the first of the Battle March armies. So this is basically a pair of box sets. You got Cafe on one side, and you got the Wars of Chaos on the other. These are ways to get into the actual game if you aren't already, or to buff up your forces, I guess. That's fine. And then Old World Arcane Journal, the Mark of Chaos, which comes with rules for that kind of stuff. Cards. Blood Bowl, Morgan Thorg. Of course, my immediate thought is, as well, you could put him into Necromunda pretty easily, right? Him maybe less so. So he was a... Yeah, so both of these... Well, I don't know about Morgan Thorg. Well, Morgan Thorg was available previously, but this Minotaur is pretty unchanged from his old Forge World version, except now it's in plastic, which is good. Same thing with this guy, because that was not a fun resin kit, the old Rat Ogre. I have a few of the Rat Ogres, because previously the plastic Rat Ogre sucked. And Spike. And Blood Bowl stuff. And White Dwarf. And that's it. Display capture, turn that off. Oh, I can turn off the technical difficulties. Boop. Alright. So, yeah, you know, I just realized I forgot to post this link places, so I'm going to do that real quick. Miniatures rundown, lazy hobby Sunday times. Better pause that, or I'm going to get the dreaded effect. But yeah, we figured out the music because it turns out YouTube does still have, it's hidden, and you gotta find it. But YouTube does still have the free audio thing. And I avoid AI music by sorting by posting date. And I went to, so we're listening to stuff that was posted basically before the AI slopification of it all. I reserve the right to change tracks at any time. Alright, so. Actually didn't have a super solid plan for today. There we go. All right. How are you all doing today? I hope you're all doing well. I hope if you're in the heat dome that you're staying relatively cool. I hope if you're near the wildfires, you're staying relatively cool in a very different way. We're fine here. It's rainy and wet, which is actually fine. Although it rained on me all day yesterday, so I got soaked to the skin while I was out working my farm. But that's fine. All the animals are dry. Alright, so we've got this guy here, who is based very loosely on my little kobold avatar guy drawn by certain miniatures, thanks to them. And I like this, especially, this is now with some green juice. I'm going to zoom in a little bit and see. There we go. So this has got actually shaded now. Focus. You can do it. There we go. I'm really happy with this color scheme. I went with silver over gold. I put some wash on him. I have decided that this is going to be my Marine Army scheme. This guy over here, I still like, and I don't think I'm going to repaint this guy. Like, he's going to be like the one odd in furnace Marine out, which is fine. But I'm really happy with this. We're moving forward with this. I still got to come up with a chapter symbol, which will be another day, because I'm very torn on if I want to go through the process of making my own transfers, which I know how to do, and I have the materials for. Because you can do it with an inkjet or a laser printer, and it doesn't even need to be color if you want it to be in black and white, which is what I want. But the question is, do I want to go to the effort of doing that, or do I just want to make something that is so easy I could freehand it? I think that'll be a different stream. I also finally printed this baby. Zoom back out. Come on, camera. Camera, what are you doing? The answer is because you're using a DSLR for something that shouldn't be used for DSLR. Hello, Daniel Grass. Finally printed this thing, which is, the idea of it is you can take your washes and put it in there, so A, it won't spill, and B, it will stay open, because I struggle with that, especially on the ones where I had to break the stupid little thing in the back. Don't worry, you landed heavy side down. So yeah, finally got that. This file is free on Thingiverse, by the way. It comes with a bunch of versions that have 40K iconography on them, but I didn't print any of those because I didn't want to pick any sides, and I don't know why. Also because it took less time to print this one. I printed this in FDM, cheap stuff, but it works, and I really like this. No offense, because I printed this thing a long time ago, and this thing is great for holding the washes so you don't spill them, but it doesn't hold them open, and I have never been able to get this little thing to work. So... oh crap, it's Saturday, Fast and Furious time yesterday. I've completely forgotten since Sunday today until someone posted the link to the stream somewhere I could see it late. Yeah, I just completely forgot to post the link to the stream. I normally post it an hour ahead of time. Just completely forgot. Oh, the reason these are there. Pro tip. Whenever you paint a project, take pictures of all the colors you used, or write them down. So this way, I know that this turquoise is the one that I used here. I didn't have time to work on the white balance for my camera, so everything is still way bluer than it actually is. So, I guess the first question I have is, does anybody know anything about Space Marine list building in 11th edition? Like, what I should paint? Because normally I would say, okay, time to paint some intercessors, because these are your basic troop. Should I paint intercessors? Are they still the basic troop you want to start with? I mean, they're kind of replaced by the new intercessors, but I'm still going to use the old models. You know, are assault marines still good? Should I paint a unit of assault marines? I have no idea. If I felt like building, I do also have some building that I could do, because I've got a box. But yeah, putting a hole on painting Necromunda because it looks like the rules of edition is changing enough that I don't know what I'm going to do. Well, I say that. There is this guy I could paint. I'll take you off. I do have my arms master here. We could paint that. Alright. For the music, let me know if it's too loud or too soft. If you like it louder, or if the track is just completely irritating to you. This guy's weird because I happen to know this guy has a black jacket. I guess we could start with him. I lied, I'm going to paint Necromunda. There you are. Smooth you out. So yeah, lots of buzz about the Necromunda rules. We still haven't gotten our book yet. GW doesn't send us stuff, so we have to wait till we get it through a game store. Who is nice enough to give it to us early. We are kind of withholding comment until we see the whole picture, and I don't want to just, it's weird. A lot of the leaks, it's almost like the people who care about Breaking Street don't care about Breaking Street. They also don't know how to make good videos because they're hard to watch and they're grainy and not actually good at getting information. Of course, on Saturday was the embargo went up, so that was when content creators started posting stuff. I know Tabletop Memes gave it a fairly positive review, mostly fairly positive reviews all around, which is good. I could go watch Man Reed's book, Ash from Guerrilla Miniatures Games, and I'm not throwing shade at him because Man Reed's book is a valuable service. Could go watch that. 1 or 2 clicks quieter, got it. And then more buffer for when I lean away from the mic. Alright, turn that down. But I don't want to just watch someone else's content and then, just go off of that. Even though I'm sure that Ash did a very thorough reading of the new rules, because he always does. That's what he does. Well, it's not all he does, but he definitely does that. However, I'm going to wait till I get it and then read through it and have time to digest it. So far, it certainly looks like the game has changed. Looks like some of the things that we've complained about previously, and my camera has already frozen. It's not even... It's not even hot in here. There we go. What was I saying? Oh, yeah. A lot of the things that we complained about looks like they have changed. Plasma's always unstable now. That's fascinating. But instead of removing your guy from the board, it just shoots you in the face instead of... It's an attack against you instead of attack against them, which is what I literally asked for last time we talked about it on video. So yeah, I'm happy with that. That should help reduce the dominance of Plasma, because that's an actual choice to be made now if you use it at all. And it does kind of make sense for Necromunda that almost all the Plasma would be unstable nonsense, right? A lot of stuff in the game books and the Reddit. I was sad that Mouse Train didn't get fixed. Yeah, that was I've heard about. Again, I won't give too much opinions on it because I don't have the full picture, and I think that's super important. But there is some weirdness. Looks like Necromunda isn't changing that much. They're in the book, but yeah, I don't know. The big one that we were skeptical about, and I'm still kind of skeptical about, but I am kind of still in wait and see mode, is the cover. The fact that cover no longer makes you harder to hit, but does make you harder to for the armor piercing to get through. And I really got to see how the entire armor landscape works before I pass a judgment on that. Because, yeah, on the face of it, I don't like that. On the face of it, I'm like, oh, gosh, that's really annoying. Armor should, cover shouldn't... Yeah. And no matter what we do, rules are abstractions, right? Because you could make the argument, well, cover doesn't actually make you harder to hit because someone just shoots the cover. And if someone has a big armor-piercing weapon, that it would go through that cover. And that is true. So that's one way to look at it, but you could also look at, a weapon that is strong and a weapon that is good at going through cover are two very different things. Weapons that are good at armor, or going through armor and going through hard cover, are two very different things. Example in real life would be your very average 5.56 round, 5.56 NATO. Sorry, gun nerdery coming up. Your 5.56 NATO is a gun that is a bolt that moves very, very, very fast. So when it has the right tip on it, it's actually fairly adept at punching through some body armor. at least soft body armor, because it's moving very, very fast. If you want to get through body armor, you need to move very, very fast. But at the same time, the ballistics of a 5.56 round is actually very bad at going through hard things. It's bad at going through walls. It's bad at going through hard cover. Because it's not designed to. It's not the point. So what's good at going through body armor is not necessarily the same thing that is good at going through hard cover. But game rules always have to be an abstraction in that way, and you will always lose realism, and trying to chase realism to that degree is, I'm not going to say it's a fool's errand, but that's simulation chasing, right? Which is fine, but that's not what Necromunda is. So, yeah, I'm not, I'm cynical on it, but that's just me because I'm a very cynical person. I'm waiting to see how the entire landscape looks before I comment on whether it's a good or bad change. I've heard something's changed about the range, like the range bands are different or weird or something like that. Hello, Spudgy. Good evening to you. Painting up this Arms Master, whom I'm trying to work with dark skin on this guy, just because, I don't know. I play hardcore Necromunda for hardcore simulation of realistic gang warfare. Roll for dysentery. Is adding more complexity, adding more fun or interest. Right, yeah, and I don't think Necromunda, that thankfully is not a problem. I do know that they've changed the entire pin system to be more about suppression, which is interesting. I'm looking forward to reading about that. I'm a really big fan of those kind of systems because that is actual, like, that to me, it'll be 2 weeks to find out. No, it won't, because we'll get the book sometime this week, and then we will do a full read-through rundown. And, however, I guarantee you that we're going to have opinions, and I guarantee this is true of everyone else as well, and keep this in mind when you read opinions on the internet. I guarantee you that we will have opinions that we will later rescind once we actually play the games. I guarantee you there is something in there that I'm not going to like, and then I'm going to play games and I'm going to go, this actually works. And I guarantee you there's something to be in there that I do like, and then I'm going to play some games and go, this is annoying. What's what? Well, we'll see. But no, we should have our book hopefully this week. And then we will immediately begin. What happens is as soon as it comes in, every single one of us will go to the store, pick it up, take it home, read it that night, and then the next day we'll record something. I don't know what the system what the status on that is. Depends on who's in town and who's doing what. I just noticed there's a giant gap here. You should play a game to truly understand how you feel about it. The rules preposterous. I mean, it's not like we're completely free of sin here. We are going to talk about it before we start playing it. It's not like I'm going to pick up the book and say, right, see you all in 6 months. Or play several games. We're going to read it and but what we're probably going to do is probably call our first book, Initial Impressions, or First Review. And then we'll talk about things. And there's always that's the game, right? And there is a little bit of hate the game, not the playa in there, right? Because that's the YouTubeosphere. And we don't, or at least I don't, my main income is not off this, so I can afford to not play the game in that way if this is your main breadwinner. You have to play the game differently, and I don't, it's a fine line between begrudging somebody. The only thing I will always begrudge is AI art. Don't use that. Or AI, whatever. Don't need it, don't use it. And if you're using it, I'm not going to watch it. I'm not going to give you the view. I'm a hardliner. Now, we do have good news that Munda Manager is going to be updating for 26 as soon as they get their hands on it. Which is good, because I kind of live and die by that program. And, on the one hand, it would kind of be nice if, Necromunda 26 was svelte enough to not need a third-party management program to make sense of it. On the other hand, we always kind of end up using those third managing. Trench Crusade isn't particularly complicated, but I still use Trench Compendium because it's just a very nice tool. 1 second. I gotta check if my music died for some reason. Why are you dead? It wasn't. It just had a very, very long lead up. Begrudge people who farm drama. Yeah, there is true. There is intentional, and that's why I say it's a fine line and kind of a personal line. Because, one man's drama farming is another man's gonzo journalism. Within reasons. Sometimes it's just nice to have the purpose-made tool instead of juggling your own spreadsheet. Yarp! Why are you dead? Ah, yes, the Rogue Doc. Excuse me, sir. Have you considered not being dead? Just, you pay discount rates for a Rogue Doc, and you get a guy who just tries to pep talk your guys back into existence. What's weird is that about 16.67% of the time it works. So if you didn't see that, I didn't explain it. What we did there is a little trick that sometimes works. If you have a gap like that, I don't even know if that gap's going to show up on camera. Zoom, enhance, there we go. If you have a gap like that, like he has, focus. There we go. You can, yeah, listen, I've been to doctors like, yeah. We just considered not being depressed. If you have a gap like that, you can put some matte varnish over it. If you've already painted it and all that stuff, you can put some matte varnish over it, and sometimes it'll fill it, and you can then paint over it. Yeah, I saw so far what I've seen of the Rogue Doc changes. That's an example of something I like. And that's just an example of something that I have most of the picture there. Because even, the only thing we don't have the picture on, or at least I don't, again, if you're keeping up on the leaks, maybe you do. I say leaks, if you're keeping up on the reveals, maybe you do. Is the overall credit economy. If the credit economy has changed greatly, that will affect Rogue Docs. But overall, I still, even regardless of the credit economy, I do like the changes. Because, yeah, it's removes the feel bad of trying to take a guy to the doctor and going, oh, we can't pay 80 credits. And the fact that there's a mechanic for reducing that cost further. Now I want to zoom back out. Am I not on camera? Oops. Oh, yeah, I was not on camera, sorry. I'll stay, let me see if I can zoom out a little bit. There we go, trying to keep a balance between being able to see the mini. Okay, should be good here. You have so many leather straps. Oh god, this guy's gonna have gold chains on him. Turtleneck and chain. Is a mechanic called health insurance? There is a health insurance mechanic on Necromunda. It's called buying your own Rogue Doc. Alright, trying to see where the jacket ends and this guy's skin begins. I think it's right here. And of course, lawnmower directly outside my window. Yeah, he's not going to have white hair. I just haven't painted his hair yet. I guess I could have him have white hair. Good afternoon from the UK. I hope everyone got a hello, Tabletop Econ. Thoughts? Yeah, our Sunday stream usually does end up being kind of our Euro stream because it's a little more accessible to our Euro friends, which is, I think, like 45% of our audience, so... Plus, it's good for me, because it means that I just get to paint on Sunday. You know, I could have them have white hair. Like, I could have this guy be, like, an older guy. Like, he's got, like, gray hair with white bits on it. Because, you know, the Arms Master is, like, the morale guy, right? You know, the one who's keeping everybody in line, because he's supposed to be, like, really tough and really experienced. So, actually, I could have this guy be an older guy. Yeah, maybe we'll go with that. And it would be a nice contrast, because I'm worried that, like, because dark skin usually means darker hair. But if I put black hair on him, it might really blend. What am I expecting from Necromunda journals, but versus what I like? Good question, Age of Slanesh. Ooh, that's a tough one. What I'm expecting is alliances, and because like all that stuff that they announced that was like staying, but has Apocrypha rules, basically Legends rules. I'm expecting that. Well, I guess what I would say is I'm expecting more of them than I would like, because that's how it always works, right? And most of them, if it's anything like the Arcane journals or the Horus Heresy journals, most of them will be rules for 1 or 2 new things and then a bunch of fluff. Yeah, because so far my understanding is that everybody has lost their house mechanics. Which, like, if we're being honest, except for a couple houses, is not a big loss. Orlok is kind of a big loss because the legendary names were nice. But yeah, I am expecting a journal for every single house to get their main mechanic back. We're putting black over this because black is a better base for metallic than white. At least with the ones I'm using. So yeah, I'm expecting a journal to get everybody their main mechanic back, and I'm expecting... The downside is I'm expecting the journals to be targeted towards individual houses, and that therefore you will have to buy a bunch of them if you play a bunch of different houses. Because it is Games Workshop, and they do monetize their books. So... And that is the one big difference, because in, like, Horus Heresy, probably only play one army, except for the sickos. And I mean sickos very positively, you know. And I guess that's probably true of Necromunda as well. A lot of folks only play one gang, and that we're the sickos because we like this game enough to have multiple gangs. You know, we're all in on it. Most people aren't. So yeah, I'm expecting to have to buy more journals than I want to. What I would like is a one journal that is like all of the house mechanics. That would be great. But we're not going to get that. So Helot got lost there. Well, here's the thing. That's what I've heard, Duke Moosey. I don't know for sure exactly who's lost what. But my understanding is that, like, Goliaths don't have gene smithing, but I think Escher don't have toxic chem manufacturing anymore. But I don't know for certain. What's weird is there's conflicting reports on it, you know? Oops, sorry, I keep going off camera. Helot, okay, so Helot does still have witch rules. Good. Yeah, sorry, when I say house mechanic, I mean, like, the auxiliary things that are half the time not even very good, like the Vansar Archaeotech. Not Archaeotech, the Vansar tech upgrades. Vansar lost their basic Arachne rig. Is it only the Ash Waste Arachne rig now? That's kind of an interesting choice. Gas Sponge is something you can buy now. Yeah, hello, Omega, I have not looked too much into the armor changes. I've only kind of heard bits and pieces. I know the gist, which is armor's a lot more expensive now. You are not going to be throwing mesh armor on everybody. But people have built-in armor saves. And I tell you what, like, again, I have to see how it actually interacts with reality of playing the game, but off the cuff, I kind of like that. Mesh armor was always a verisimilitude, big word, problem, because it's described as being chainmail. Chainmail is really hard to make, and should not be everywhere. It's also really heavy. But due to the mechanics and the cost, it ends up being the best bang for your buck in Necromunda 17, or whatever we're going to call it. Pinnings and suppressings. I'm a big fan of that kind of control-based gameplay. My favorite example of that is in Bolt Action. Sorry, I'll read the question. What are your feelings on the fact that it seems like there'll be more pinning suppressing potentially, and armor saves are drastically reduced? No sign of undersuits or additional armor. I don't know if there's going to be more pinning if they just change it to suppressing. That was always a big part of Necromunda, and I'm trying to think, how do I want to say this? Necromunda, in its later stage, and we talked about this a lot in our tier lists and stuff, often feels more killy than the game feels like it should be. Like, stuff just dies. And then it becomes an arms race, and a lot of the things that we didn't rate very highly were because it was being compared to the plasma gun, or something else where stuff just dies. I think that the game being more about, or having a better emphasis on, like, there's lower armor, so stuff still just dies, but also a bigger emphasis on shooting and suppressing things, and then moving to get the kill. That's what firefights kind of really are, and again, I don't want to get into, oh, we need to be realistic, because we're not here for that. We're here for gang warfare. But, like, shooting to suppress somebody and then having someone else shoot at them from out of cover to actually secure the kill is kind of what you're supposed to do. And I do like that aspect of it. I would like there being more tactics to it than just, I have plasma gun, you die. As much as I like having my plasma gun that makes people die. And I do. We'll see. Both of those are very legitimate ways to build game design. Having game design where everything just dies, like, immediately, and is just super brutal, which is my favorite example of that is a game called Blackout. If you've never looked into Blackout, it's kind of it's basically Titanfall vibes, if you've ever seen Titanfall. Yeah, no, plasma guns I do not think will be the go-to anymore, which is fascinating, and that is a good change. Like, I love my plasma gun, but in the Underhive, it feels very, very appropriate that the plasma guns would always have a chance to hurt you. And B, like, they shouldn't be, yeah. And also Ascension. Yeah, anyway, Blackout, which is basically Titanfall, the miniatures game. Lovely little game, and it's super fast and brutal. You poke your head out, you shoot, and someone returns fire. One of you is probably going to die immediately. The game is over in half an hour because it's just this snapshot of a really quick firefight. But the game, even there, is still about flanking people to try and get them out of cover, because cover is very, very, very good at keeping you alive, and the way around that in that game is to flank them and kill them. And if you get a shot on somebody without cover, there's like a 90% chance they're going to die. So that is certainly a game style. On the other hand, you have something like Bolt Action, which, barring some certain builds, is very much actually killing things in Bolt Action is actually kind of difficult. Because even your veterans really only like wound things on like a 4-up. So it's a lot about suppression and mitigating your opponent's ability to do what they want to do with your troops while trying to do with what you want to do with yours. So that's a very different game style. And it also is a legitimate one that works very well. So you can do either, as long as you know what you're doing and lead into it. Yeah, so light and heavy carapace giving you initiative and agility penalties, and initiative and agility being way more important now. I really like that. Yeah, the fact that light carapace also gives the initiative penalty is a little weird, but you know what? I'm okay with it. Again, I'm okay with it off the cuff. I need to see what it looks like. I need to see how it actually works in-game. I kind of wish they'd copied more of how the heavy armor worked in Wartime, where it hits more penalties in heavy rather than light. Yeah. I could see either way. Again, I gotta see that in-game, because it's like, how bad are the penalties? You know, it looks like initiative and agility are actually really important now, which is good. Even grenade launchers have a nasty ammo roll, which makes sense. What will be fascinating to see is how if and how they do any post-release balancing, because with normal Necromunda, they basically never did. But yeah, I am looking forward to reading all the rules changes. It so far, at least from the initial creator vibes I'm getting, is it certainly doesn't look like it was an awful disaster of an edition. It looks like it's generating discussion. And you know, I will say, and I think we discussed this way back when on a different stream. I don't think they will. They didn't do anything with heresy. And there's just some units that aren't goods. Yeah, I mean, well, you know what? At least we're used to that. Let the bug friends be free of Secundus. Well, you know what? If they don't do it, we can, right? House rules, baby. Sorry if I keep interrupting myself. I'm very bad at that. I apologize. Oh, what was I saying? Yeah. It is better to be... A game is better when it is a 9 out of 10 or a 10 out of 10 game for some people, and a 2 out of 10 game for other people. That's how you get a more interesting game, with the understanding is that for some folks, it just won't be their game, and you have to kind of let that go. Warhammer 40,000 wants to be a 6 out of 10 game for everybody. It's like, oh, it's fine. And you know what? It is. Because that's how you make the most sales, but it's not how you make the best games. The best games are Marmite games, Vegemite games, where it's like, yeah, oh man, you either love this or you hate it. Yeah, shields in the trading post for vendors. Vendors are going to be, oh man. I'm so happy that they're still in, but they're going to be weird. Okay, so here's the thing. I'm giving this, and this is a problem I always have. The cheap beer principle. Yeah, it is exactly the cheap beer principle. Yeah, you want your thing to be, the best sales, in theory, is to be palatable to 99% of people, so it's bland. Because beer with strong flavors are off-putting by necessity, by design, by nature. Some people will love them, some people will hate them. So, whenever I'm doing dark skin, I always have this problem where, do you still have brown leathers on dark skin, or should I, like right here? And it's a particular problem with this guy where his, he's going bare-chested because he's got the six-pack here. I probably should paint this strap black and not leather brown. Because leather brown, even though it's not the same brown as his skin, which is very important when you're painting brown skin, don't paint it leather brown, because that looks awful. I don't want it to blend too much into his skin. Yeah, if you're unknown, yeah, middle of the road, here's the thing, nobody starts out middle of the road. Warhammer 40,000 did not start out middle of the road. Middle of the road is only something reached by committee and by, committee design, right? Snakebite leather. Yeah, I don't want to use contrast paints. Snakebite leather is a good one. This is functionally my leather color here. But yeah, I can go for a lighter leather color. Part of that is I put the brown skin I put down does have a lot of red and warmth to it, which I don't think my white balance bad camera is showing. Yes, the increased prevalence of more conventional weapons, that's something that is very personal, because some people want to play Warhammer games for the plasma and the weird stuff. I do like it when, in my personal perfect world of Necromunda, this is the only person on my team with with this massive, scary, screw-off heavy bolter. Right. She's special, and most people are her. where she's got a gun. It's an assault rifle. It goes brrr. You know. Yep. And, you know, at the end of the day, Necromunda 23 is still there. Could go an even lighter leather color, like a snakebite leather. Yeah, generically lighter leather. Yeah. Snakebite is a good contrast paint. I have it. I just don't want to use it on this guy because I'd have to re-contrast him. But yeah, yeah, like a lighter leather. Ooh, where'd I put my lighter leather colors? I've got them somewhere. Anything from, well, here's like actual leather brown, right? Yeah, evocative is a good word. Spudgy. And that is a your mileage may vary thing, right? Because some people do not agree. And some people are just going to be upset that the stuff they had is not going to be the stuff that is good now. And you will hear people saying, oh, Games Workshop changed it because everybody bought plasma, and, you know, I kit bashed a gang with 14 plasmas, and now they're useless. Games Workshop is greedy and terrible. Games Workshop is greedy and terrible, but I guarantee you that did not go across the minds of the designers. A gray could work. I think, honestly, the way is... yeah, that lighter color leather. I'm just hoping I'm able to create my counts as Inquisitor and Retinue Vendors. Yeah, like, I started my Venators, you know. I put a lot of effort into kit bashing these Venators. And now I'm kind of on, like, you know, in limbo as to whether they'll be good or not. Like, I've still got Cat Venator here, who remains unprimed, because I don't want to put effort into her. Yeah, like, negativity bias is a thing. But on the other hand, I also really don't want to avoid, like, the get with the times, old man, upgrade. Some people will choose to stick with Necromunda 23, and I think that is a valid choice. I mean, it's not looking like we will, because so far all the changes look like pretty decent, but, you know, that was on the option for us. That was, you know, that was certainly in the cards when we first happened, because I said outright, like, if this is not what's happened, and some people have said this and they're wrong, it's not turned into Kill Team, but if they had made this into just Kill Team, I would have pieced out. I'm not here for that. It's not why I'm playing Necromunda. Now, cynically, I'd probably still keep covering it for the channel. Do I want the... I don't know why I want this to be, like, do I want that to be... Okay, well, those are metal studs. So are they metal studs over brown? I think they are. Yeah. We have been accused of doing saccharine reviews because sometimes we just legitimately really like something. Which is, yeah, and that just comes with the territory. Like, I don't know, I still think the racing mode is, like, the best thing they've ever released. And I guarantee you, because it doesn't look like they did, we will be releasing or community building some kind of thing to make sure, depending on how the vehicle rules change, because they might not have changed at all, and maybe we don't need to do any adaptation. But we'll definitely be doing... making sure that you can still play wacky races in Necromunda 26, because I just love that game mode. I think it's delightful. It's not perfect. This is clear when you don't like it. Yeah. And, you know, people go, oh, that's why, like, people go... GW, you know, you're being nice because GW sends you stuff, or which they don't. But I'm going to tell you right now, Games Workshop doesn't know or care if you trash talk them. They'll keep sending you stuff, and if you want any, and this is not me, he'll tell you this as well, go check out Uncle Adam's Tabletop Minions videos. He is not kind to Games Workshop, like, at all. He is very not kind to Games Workshop. for a lot of reasons, and almost always when they deserve it. He and I have very different tastes in what games we like to play, but as far as Games Workshop's bad business practices, he's not kind. They still sent him the Necromunda box. Because they don't care. They don't care if you trash talk them. If you talk about their stuff for the cost of one free box, they don't care whether you're nice or bad. You're still cheap advertising, baby. So the idea that anybody would speak nicely about Games Workshop in an attempt to get stuff is complete bunk, because I don't know if they know. I don't know if the people making that decision know. Like, who, you know... I think one of the very few people who's actually on their crap list is the guy who does the leaks, because that is something that, as we've known, like Rockstar trying to send a kid to jail for life for leaking the trailer, companies they don't care about good or bad press. It's all press, views is views, but they do care about controlling when it comes out, because that's all, So, leaking stuff from Games Workshop, that makes them hate you. Trash talking them? Nah, they don't care. You're still talking about Warhammer. You're still keeping Warhammer in the public eye. And they'll keep sending you stuff, apparently. And no, I have no idea what we'd have to do to get them to send us stuff. And at this point, we're just kind of like, I guess that's not happening, so, carry forward. Which, on the other hand, it does mean we're kind of, like, there's never any doubt in our minds of whether, like, oh, do we need to pull punches? We do generally try not to be overly negative. Like, yeah, well, Creative Assembly, video game companies are different. Video game companies are not, have a different thing. Yeah, I don't mean to apply Games Workshop's logic to everybody, because there are many companies, especially video game companies, Sega, who do want, they want the good press. Okay, so here's the problem here, is that the dark leather up here doesn't match the leather on his boots. And there's a lot of that leather. So now it looks funny. Actually, I think the reason it looks funny is because... Hold on, I'm going to look up what an Arms Master looks like when they paint it. Because I'm wondering how they balance this piece. Arms Master... Ah! It's metallic. Okay. That makes a lot more sense for the balancing of the piece. Yeah, corporatized leaks are intellectual property crime, which, yeah. Being mean about a product is free advertising. Not looking forward to have the 160 in my wallet to get the 3 books. Yes. Yep. And like we said, again, Games Workshop is an evil company. Because they're a company. And evil and company... a publicly traded company is synonymous with evil company, right? There is no non-evil publicly traded companies. Anyway, we won't get into that. But yeah, they are going to monetize it. And yep, $160 for 3 books. And that's going to suck. Yeah, so it's not about the different leather, Tabletop Geeks. It's the balance of the piece of the light up here with too much brown down here. However, I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to fix that by this is going to be metallic. That will balance it better, I think. Although I should probably wait for that to dry. Oh, you know what I need to do? I need to put another coat of black on his coat. Because it's not actually... Yeah, 1-2 is auto, fail, and 4-6 is a success band. Oh, I missed what was... Oh, I was curious about the average number of dice rolled in each interaction, and if it'll be 1d6 as spikes or close to 2d6 equivalents. I'm guessing that just like normal Necromunda, or, sorry, normal current Necromunda, they will change that based on what they're trying to accomplish and win. Because they like the 2d6 for mental stats, but they like the 1d6 for combat stats. Usually, sometimes. Maybe I want to be Paris Fashion Week in the Underhive. I guess if I was doing that, I'd be painting Eschers, right? Have vehicle dice been removed? I don't know the answer to that. I haven't heard anybody say anything about vehicles in any way, shape, or form, which is weird. Which leads me to believe that they haven't changed much. If no one's talking about it, that means there's no drama to farm, or no opinions to post, which means it's the same, is my guess. But I have no idea. Because, yeah, vehicles in general are a great idea that could use a little reworking. So I'd be fascinated. They're certainly not removing vehicles, obviously. And I know vehicle dice were contentious because some people loved them in the callback that they made to, like, 7th edition, and other people hated them. I'm kind of neutral. Wearing all the same leather across... Sorry, I guess that is true, Daniel Jonah Grouse, but, you know, my brain thinks of Final Fantasy and something like that, where it's straps of leather all the way down, and they're all the same for color coordination. Okay, coming off camera, sorry. Need a command for that. The music has decided to change to funky space music. Wow, wow, wow. I don't remember anything about the vehicle rules when I looked at them. Those belts are all one out of clothing, yeah. All 50 of them. Current shooting uses pseudo 2d6 since it's hit roll plus ammo dice, but it sounds like new system uses 1d6 unless you got rapid fire or nasty ammo check, is my understanding. I think that it's... Yeah, I think the only thing that's actually changed with the hit system, it's still 1d6. The only thing that's changed is that instead of everything having a ammo dice, only the really risky or ammo-prone stuff does. And it's just kind of assumed that everyone else has enough ammo, which is a big change. Because part of the thing of the Underhive is that even your crappy auto gun could jam, and you only have a 4-up to fix it. If that's changing, that is a definitely a style change. Okay, let's get another... this cable and wiring here. 1 second. Again, this is probably like a grapple hook chain thing, right? Well, first let me get another layer of brown on you because you need it. Yeah, I'm very, very, very excited to read the rules. I'm kind of champing at the bit. Of course, I'm sure UPS will hate us as they always do, and it won't get delivered until, like, Wednesday or something, and I'm going to be, oh! But cannot wait to sit down and read those rules. Get a really good feel for them. And then play some games. We'll probably play some skirmish games. Get a feel for it. I'm liking this guy as he's coming together. Where did my black go? There we go. We're going to black these out because that will remind me later that these will be metallic. Basically, it's going to be the same as his jacket. I am excited. This will be the first time I build and paint Delac, because I am getting the new Delac crew box with this. I guess it'll be kind of the gang I dive into the new edition with. Maybe, or maybe I'll look at the rules and go, oh, never mind. But, you know, it's a gang I don't own. And a gang I never actually played, so it will be fun. Might be the worst one to do for a new edition, because they're all about weird rules and tricks and exceptions. Guess we'll see what happens. Could be a bit of frustration. You only keep rolling one small dice, or half the numbers. Yeah, that is, I mean, that's, unfortunately, that's just Warhammer, right? Because you roll a dice to hit, and then you roll a dice to wound, and then they roll a dice to save, and every single one of those is a failure point. Burp, 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 burp. That is true. Not failing your... You know, I never really thought of it that way. Not failing your ammo roll is technically a success state. Because it really always, to me, felt more like a neutral thing that is more of a feels bad when it doesn't go the way I want it to. On non-rapid fire weapons. Like, you fire your stub gun and then you roll the ammo dice, and unless you roll the ammo check, you don't even think about it. It's just, okay, yeah, I didn't hit. It's more like, oh, I hit. You know, the ammo roll is more like an additional bad thing that happened. Interesting how the vibes of that work, right? Okay. So now that I know that's going to be metallic, that frees me up over here to do some more brown leather on the ropes. Actually, you know what would be fun? More fun. Let's find a red leather. Something like a red leatherette, right, on his little rope here, for no good reason. I need one of those deep brown reds. Do I have one? Am I a silly goose who does not? Black red? Maybe? I thought I had my whole red. Where did I put my whole red? Because whole red's great for this. Are you over here? Nope. Ah. Narrator's note, I have found the whole red. Great color. By a terrible company. It's very dark. It's more like a brown than a red. It's perfect for this. There we go. Look at that. Okay. Yeah, I could see that being a concern. Ooh. I actually really like this as a red-brown leather. Need to write that down. And the white there will be metallic once we get to that. Oh, I gotta do the gloves. I always forget that. His, you know, fingerless gloves jokes go here. Okay. Do I want the fingerless gloves on this guy to be black or brown? Because they're brown on all my other Orlocks. Let's try brown, because we can always put black over it. I almost never see the underside of these gloves. Bright green mixed in. Oh, don't worry. I will get plenty of that when I get to doing my Eschers. I will... Ah! Camera froze again. Grumble, grumble. That's what annoys me. It's not even hot in here, because normally that's because DSLR cameras overheat. But I don't have anything by a heat source, and it's not hot today. I just realized with some horror that I didn't write down what color I used for this guy's skin, so we're going to have to figure that out. I'm going to go to make corrections. So I'm trying to belay that by messing up less than I normally would. I think you certainly could do Neon Punk or Lock, but it wouldn't be my bag, usually. I should probably just do the gun before I do this, but oh well, we'll do this first. Okay. I like doing all my metallics at once because I don't put my metallics on my wet palette. I guess I could try it. This guy's gun is going to be metallic. In this case, because we already have a lot of black on his body, with the leather jacket being most of it, and he doesn't have the blue to cut that. So if I had another black gun sticking out, it would be kind of annoying. Let's do your... Oh, did I miss a little... Yes, I did. Yeah, there we go. Oops. That was too watery. Well, now we've accomplished nothing. Try it again. There we go. Alright, let's get my Corex White out. A paint that I am loathing how much I love this paint. It's my favorite off-white smooth paint. It's working even better than, like, the usual suspects for me, which is ghastly, but... I might rebottle it. I'm not going to go white hair in this guy, but I am going to go gray hair, I think. Maybe with tips of white. It'll be an elder Orlock. Used to cracking heads and keeping the greenhorns in line. We have surf music now, okay. You can tell this guy's important because his skull belt is twice the size of everyone else's. Oop. Yeah, well. So, Corax was... so what I do, instead of Apothecary White, I take Nuln Oil, and then I put it like a 110 mixed with medium. So just Lamy medium or speed paint medium, it doesn't matter what. Some kind of acrylic medium. And I take Nuln oil and I just really water it down, or really medium it down so it's super thin, and that's how I end up with, where are you, ma'am? That's how I end up with this. It's not perfect, but it's fast. So that's what these gals have. I don't put flat Nuln oil on there because it really, you know, I think that's what I did for, where are you, sir? This guy. Where it's, well, I guess no, I must have put something different on him. I have one somewhere where I did put just Nuln oil on there, and it's like super dark and grody. Which is a style you could do. I'm able to make my first new edition gang list be outcasts. Less likely hurt to lose folks, yeah, because, you know, they're all disposable, yeah. Completely lost track of what I was doing. Oh, right. I think we're mostly ready for... Well, and I want his face mask to be metallic. Or black. Well, the front's going to be metallic. Let me see. We're going to go with an off black for this, and then... So kind of the same gray as his pants. Yeah, there we go. How far does that go down? Is that on his entire chin? Yeah, it is. Okay. Camera frozen again? Oh! Okay, dongle, why are you doing that? You know, the dongle's getting very warm. I might need to, like, but it's not even near anything that's heating it, so I might need to get, like, a fan for the dongle, which is a sentence. Bring me a fan for my dongle. There we go. Okay. Need to get his... That'll probably be metallic. But the goggles won't. Well, actually, the goggles will be metallic, but let's fill them in with gray first. And we'll do the hair. What dongle are you using? Great question. I have no idea, and I can't check right now. I'll look it up later. I admit this is very much a thing where Cody, who actually knows what he's doing, just gave me one and said, use this, and I said, yes, sir. But I should look up what I'm using so I actually know how to troubleshoot it. And it's good to be familiar with the tech you're beholden to. Alright, so that'll be metallic. Let's get his hair. What's a good gray hair color? You want something with some life. I think that will work with a nice wash on it. Ash gray. Ooh, that's going to need the wash, though, because right now that looks white, especially on camera. I think... Well... let's just roll with it. We'll trust the process for a second. Troubleshooting is how hard do you hit it with a hammer. Yeah, that is true. There we go. There we go. Oh yeah, I like that. I'll need another coat. Any other non-metallics that we need to do here? Let's get that. What we got is the chain will be metallic. The gun itself will be almost entirely metallic. I think we're good to go. I think we're good to break out the metallics. Well, we can still mix it up. Okay, I'm going to try metallics on my wet palette. We'll see if it works, or if I'm making a terrible mistake. Start with some gunmetal. You'll never guess what we're going to use for this, or use this for. The gun! Mm-mm. There's a bubble here. Pop, dang it. There's a bubble in the trigger guard that I don't want to be there. Put down this. Nice and shiny and bright before we all ruin it up with a nice wash. Just gonna guess his eyelashes. You're not wrong entirely, because we will be doing the goggles in this later. So, half points. That's what the eyelash metal is going to be for. Yeah, that's a different labeled bottle of paint. It's the same paint, but it's in two different bottles to try and sell you twice. Yeah, get under there. Okay, has the music died for real this time? I don't want to stop and check. Although I should take my quick 1 hour stretch break. I'm 15 minutes late. Nope, there it is. There we go. Scrum Mascara, the worst cyberpunk body mod. Okay. I guess the question is, do I want the grip to be metal too, or do I want that to be black? Probably that be black. Here's the inside of it. Okay. So how long do you think it'll take for an Intro Assist to get back the same level of gang rule add-on complexity? It's hard to say without having read the rule book. Honestly, I hope we never get back quite to where Necromunda 23 left off, because there was just some annoying things about things being hard to find. I don't think we ever need to go back to that. But, you know, I say about as long, because GW is on a very predictable cycle. So they'll release journals and all that stuff periodically. And some of them won't have much, and some of them will have something potentially game-changing. Okay. Now, the question is, do I want to use a different metal for all the other metal on them? Kind of do, kind of don't. This music sounds like the music SpongeBob was listening to when he was dancing with the jellyfish for 12 hours. Yeah, I don't need to paint collector. Here's we get with gang tactics. Yeah, that is the one thing that is like a... Wow, all those gang tactics cards. That's kind of why I stopped buying gang tactics cards, because like they just kept, you know, they never stayed in stock, and then they're just completely gone. Probably a video in that of like what gang tactics cards would be good and to use and not use. Never seen a single episode of SpongeBob. I mean, it's not bad. It's like, unless you are like, oh, I need to know the culture of children's cartoons from the early 2000s to today. I guess there's some cultural things in there that you're probably aware of through the memes anyway, so, you know. Some of the music sounds like describing a vague memory of Daft Punk from somebody who didn't go to the concert, but he was at the, like, he was next door to the concert, so he kind of heard it. Every 40k reset usually bears everything back, and then over time they add it back in. Well, it doesn't feel like they bared everything back in this case, because a lot of what was added was still there, you know? But I'm sure they will bear it all. I'm sure they will add it all back in. And charge you for the privilege, because that is the monetization model of Games Workshop's book division. Okay, I'm just checking that all the stuff that I messed up here, I'm just going to cover up with metallic anyway, which I believe I am, so. Good. Okay. Tactics cards with flashcards. This is the way. So here's the thing with these guys. What I did for the like, her gun is the gunmetal, and then all of her other stuff is the I do like that. It's this brighter color. This stuff, cold steel. So we're gonna continue with that pattern. Where the gun is a different metal than what's on the body, which might seem weird and probably is unnecessary, but I like it. Although, oh, dang it, off screen again. I think the lyrics are about going to casino or something. I do kind of want to, because he's a big important champion. I might paint this skull on his belt in gold instead of just the usual silver. Oh, is his entire... No, we're not going to do that. It's just these little metal things on here that are metal. This is why I always do black before I put down metals, because if you miss a spot, the shade of black, or the shade of steel is metal, so. Get the belt buckle here. Ooh, the chain's definitely got to be gold, right? Yeah, we'll do gold chain and gold belt buckle, because you got to match. Just realized I did mess up one little thing here. This needs to be black. There we go. And that needs to be black as well. We're up all night to get ducky. We quack all night to get ducky. We quack all night to get ducky. Okay, anyway, continuing with the metallics. This thing. This, being a utilitarian piece, I will put in the gunmetal. Definitely hitting that point where there's so much I'm excited to paint that I don't have time to paint it all. Like, I really want to work on my Space Marine chapter, because now that I have a chapter, super pumped for that. But I also want to work on these Orlok guys, because I'm super pumped for that. And I've got these Exodites I need to paint, because I'm super pumped for that. Unfortunately, after run. Well, thank you for coming, Tabletop Geek Bucks. Really appreciate it. Hope you have a great day. And a great lunch. Or dinner, whatever time of day it is you're eating. Food. This track sounds like something out of Tony Hawk. One of the tracks you don't really remember. Oh, 1 second. I'm sorry, I just got a message from Mistral about the recording. I need to check that, because I need to... Oh, okay, we're done. So I have a little time. There we go. Okay. Boop. Still recording at 3. Just a little delayed on his end because he's got some stuff to do. If you came in late and didn't see us talking about the preview today, it's Chaos for Old World. There's a giant dragon that I really want. It's probably gonna have to wait because, spoiler, I'm blowing a lot of money on Necromunda this month. Which is a darn shame, because that dragon's cool. Dragons are cool. It's the official platform of... one of the official platforms of Miniatures right now. Things I like. Dragons. Things I don't like. AI-generated content. That's it. That's me. Still haven't named my Space Marine chapter, and I don't know... I have no idea what I'm going to name it. Trying not to lean too far into the jokes, which are a crutch for when you don't want to be serious, because then you feel like you don't, you know, you're free from consequences. And it's like, well, you know, if you're too serious, you feel cringe. But then he comes into the don't kill the part of you that or do not kill the cringe, kill the part of you that cringes, aka embrace things wholeheartedly. But even I'm not immune to feeling too cringy. Wait, there's a new... what's the new Marine? It is this guy. This is our Marine chapter scheme. On camera, my white balance is ruined. Not ruined, it's just wrong. My white balance is wrong. This is a turquoise. It's this turquoise specifically, not really a blue. It is basically the a color scheme that is the avatar, my profile picture that I use on Discord. So my little kobold guy. I put him into Marine form. So I don't have a name for it. Something dragon or kobold related, I guess. But again, cringy. Oops, that's the wrong paint. And the whole point is Necromunda. Wait, there's a new Necromunda thing to buy? Yes. I know the whole point of Necromunda is that it's doing little useless guys only, but I think they should let you use that dragon in it anyway. just put it in there. Hey, I'm sure you could work away that. Oops. Wow, I'm really bungling this. Wow. Little play in your name. Yeah, I could do something soda-based, although that doesn't track to anybody. The natrium? I'd have to look that up. I do not... Natrium is another name for sodium, which is where soda comes from. Yes, that is true, because soda water. But then people are like, wait, the Salt Marines? Are you just a really salty player? Although I didn't think about chemistry jokes. Now I need to think about that, like... because I do love chemistry jokes. So I could think of some kind of chemistry pun. The worst thing about chemistry jokes is when you get no reaction, but tish. There we go. That one looks better. I'll have to fix the other one once it dries. I probably need a new brush. This is getting a little old and grody. Okay. Got it there. Got it there. The chains are going to be gold. Now we need to do you. Get in there. There we go. So this one makes me want the whole thing to be silver except for the outline. Same thing here. This one, just the whole darn thing is silver. Very careful not to get it on the boots where we don't have to. There we go. I really like these old GW handles, and I'm really sad they don't make more. I have not tried the new springy ones. I've heard they're not good at all. If not salt, there's always cobalt. Yeah, so cobalt, what I was thinking of, because they're, I mean, it could just do cobalt marines. Like, that turquoisey color is kind of the color of cobalt nitrate, that or cobalt that comes out of silver nitrate. Something regional accent. Yeah. Although there's a lot of that is completely bunk. Like, the whole kobolds and goblins are the same thing is basically an invention of the Grimm brothers. Like, that's just not, like, there's no other historical precedent for it. I was doing some research on that because spoiler, I'm writing some things of my own that are a long time in coming about that. And yeah, like, there's basically the whole kobolds and goblins things are etymologically the same. Is kind of like just because of the Grimm brothers. There's no other real things for it. For those who don't know, the term kobold comes from a corruption of cobalt. Or rather, they share a root because little spirits that come out when you try and smelt silver, which is, we now know, is cobalt, which is very toxic and deadly. But of course, people, ascribe that to evil spirits. They don't make these anymore. Nope. They make these still. And these are fine. I don't hate these, but I don't like them. I have big chunky hands, and I like this. This is my favorite one, and they don't make it anymore. Within a thick enough of an accent of some sort, you could pretend. Cowbolt. Yeah, I could do that with my Midwestern accent that I occasionally slip into when I'm very annoyed. I know the silver looks devastatingly bright right now, which is kind of the point. Hello, Anacron. Hey, an update on the campaign. Are you still doing Secundus, or is a chance for the new rule set making a presence? We are definitely still doing Secundus, and I believe we are it's gonna be using the last of the rules campaigns. It's kind of interesting because there's the 4 of us on the channel, right? But then there's 6 other people in our Necromunda group who are not related to the channel at all. And I think we're actually looking to add 2 more people, which means we'll be 12, which is fantastic, and I love it. I have no complaints about that, except wrangling 12 people to get a campaign started is a monumentous task. Mitchell's more undertaking that just by, like, he's the one who kind of ends up doing it because he's the one who knows everybody there, basically. And it's just a monumental task to get everybody on board. And, like, you send a message and some people don't get back to you for 2 weeks. And we want to make sure everyone's on board with... I think we're using the old rule sets just because we don't want anybody to feel like they have to buy the new stuff, especially because we have a couple new players and we have all the stuff for them. It's like, hey, don't buy anything. We're going to give you everything you need to play. It's mostly the same as the new edition. We might also, like, just take new edition rules and apply it to Secundus. We haven't had that discussion yet. We're all kind of waiting for the ball to drop on the new rules, which is this week. But we are all pumped for Secundus, so it's definitely going to be Secundus. So that much we know. Now that we've released the first of our big battle reports and kind of shown that it is possible, we have a little more confidence in doing more. The music actually died this time? I keep saying that, and every time it hasn't actually died, but it will the one time I don't go check. Let me finish this silver, and then I'll go check. Yeah. Anachron's name makes me think of Necrons, which makes me think of the Dawn of War Necron trailer we just saw. Looking great. I'm excited for Dawn of War. Again, I don't really get hyped for things. I probably won't buy it day one. Less so because I'm worried about it being not good, and more so because if I wait and I'm patient, they'll come out with like packs with all the DLCs bundled in that will be cheaper. And I don't play Dawn of War. I don't play RTS games with multiplayer because I'm awful. So for me, it'll be a story-based thing, and I'll play it in a couple years when everything is out and like you can get a Dawn of War 4 Ultimate Edition. So, oh my gosh, I can't get up. That's the worst kind where it's like you can see it, but you can't get to it. So you do need to paint it, and then I just completely bungled that everywhere. Okay, that's fine. Use new rules, but blazing webbed. Maybe. I know they look really meh, but on the other hand, prices looked like they went down accordingly. I gotta see it all in concert. I gotta see all the parts and move them. Or how they move together, rather. Because, like, on the one hand, Blaze is more meh. It is. But hey, the Heavy Flamer actually looks like it might be usable now. You know, that's a nice change. It's a little random. I don't know what this little random piece of metal on the back of his jacket is supposed to accomplish. But he's got it, so we'll paint it. Still gonna need to do his gloves. Still need to do his mask, right? Still need to do this thing. Speaking of, what is even metallic on this thing? I actually don't think much is metallic on here, except maybe the strap. Or the buckle, I mean. There we go. Let's get his, because we gotta wait for that to dry. Or we could do the next step, so let's do the another damage dealer. Yeah, again, I gotta see how it actually shakes out, because I'm not sure one way or the other. Got his headband strap here that kind of disappears into the back of his hair, I think. Kind of hard to tell what is his hair and what is his headband. I got to redo the hair on that one. That's okay. That's why we're doing it now. All right. Yeah, okay. 1 second. Okay, it just froze up because it said that audio track unavailable. Okay, well, thanks. We'll go to the next one. I know that I'm using this for what is not its intended purpose, which is streaming, because it's intended for, like, you pick a track and use it in your video for free. So, I shouldn't yell at it too much for not being suited for my purpose. I hope they don't kill it, because they're really trying to push that YouTube music thing instead, which just looks worse in every way, because it's YouTube, and that's what they do. And, of course, is infested with AI slop. Because the original point, the whole point of it is costs them nothing to make, but they can still charge you for it. You hear the juvies are gone? Yes, I did. And we were kind of talking about that. It seems like an interesting choice. We'll see how it actually plans out. It seems like gangers have taken their place, which I'm okay with. Alright, we got that, we got that. Still need to do his gloves. You know, I'm not actually going to do this skull in gold. I'm going to keep that silver, or, yeah, in metal. You need another coat or two. Oh, I need to redo the lines in here with black that I messed up. That was coming. Yeah, we talked about it. It's interesting. Juvies never felt like they filled their intended role. They were always just fodder. So I'm not sad to see them get a change. Need to wait for that dry. We can do his hair a little bit better. Yeah, okay, now I see it. Kind of hard to see the lines of delineation back here. It's like, what's his hair and what's supposed to be the strap in his... goggles, but... you gotta figure it out. Okay. That'll come out in the wash, literally. Now let's do his goggles in that same silver. This is going to be really challenging because I always bungle this. Out of the brush. I like fodder, but Hive Scum are still a thing, and there's no rep limit now. Yes! Because, yeah, Hive Scum... Oh, I'm off camera here. Sorry, I'm just having a lot of trouble seeing this. There we go. Got it. Okay. Then I get that one. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Now you just need to get the edges of the goggles. And other side of the goggles. Nope, messed that up. Okay. Need to redo the white in one spot. Sawed-off shotguns can now be used in melee. Yes, which is very interesting because that is actually a house rule that a group I used to play with had. And we thought that for the cost, it made it too powerful. So I don't know if the cost has changed or not. Yeah, that's a very common house rule that people use. We didn't in our group because we just kind of felt it was a little too good. But I can tell you my Orlocks are happy because they love their sawn-off shotguns, and they love their shotguns in general. And now they suck like 60% less. Yeah, you could use your Juvies as Hive Scum XPs. However, you could also just use your Juvies as gangers. So yeah, I am... How much is the Chaos Dragon? We're taking bets on how much the Chaos Dragon is. We don't know, by the way. Spider access to a game store. We will not know until later. My guess is the Chaos Gaston's 2 chains. Yeah, prospects are not going anywhere. Yeah, prospects are all there, still there. I mean, the prospects are still stuffed into the crew boxes. Yeah, they're not going anywhere. Which, yeah, people would riot. The prospects add so much flavor to all their individual gangs. There's no reason to remove them. Okay, now I need to do his Immortan Joe face mask thing and his little antenna. Sorry, this camera again. I gotta. That's just a practice thing. Oops. I missed. Yeah, prospects felt like what Juvies should have been, and now it seems that they are. Which I am 100% on board with. Close to assemble 3 sawn-off shotgun Juvies for my Orlocks. Yeah, I need to now get more Orlocks and actually, like, I either need to take the Orlocks I have and do some cutting and kit bashing, which is why I'm only painting the ones I know I won't change. Gosh, I hope the combat shotgun on the Armsmaster is still good. Hello, Katie Smith. You're here just for the end. We've only got about 12 minutes left, but better late, and that's still fine. Alright, time for your Immortan Joe. Now everyone just needs prospects. Who doesn't have prospects? I mean, Caudor don't have... Caudor's prospects are Ash Waste. They're the odd ones out, right? Now, I hope... The other thing is I hope they made all the prospects good, because Goliath and Escher prospects were not good. Like, at all. Wild Runners... And neither were Deloc prospects. Like, basically none of them were good. Except for Van Saar for the mobility, and then Wreckers are far and away the best prospect in the game. I guess some of the other gangs don't have prospects, the tertiary gangs. Or the secondary gangs. Like, I guess Enforcers don't have prospects, and, you know, Corpse Grinder cults or don't have prospects. There are Orlocks. Oh, hi, Travis. Dropped off. Ooh, I might have to steal those. Yeah, I might have to take a look at those then. What I think I'll do... I mean, I have literally 3 boxes of Orlocks. I probably don't need to get more. I just need to take some of the ones I've assembled that are completely unpainted, swap around their... Now we're really getting into the EDM here. I feel like this makes me feel like I need to paint Van Saar in neon colors. Alright, I need gold for his chain. I guess it could be silver chain, but there's a lot of silver on here already. Where's my gold? Ooh, I've got this rusty gold. That seems perfect for Necromunda, right? Ooh, yeah. Ooh. Yeah, this feels like a music in a nightclub in a 90s game. This is the music playing in the Rave and Blade. Yeah, Corpse Grinder Juvies. Well, I mean, Corpse Grinder Juvies. Now, have we seen anything about that? I haven't heard any hubbub about the new Corpse Grinders. Like, what happened with them. Which, again, assumedly, to me, means they haven't changed. Oh, this is a perfect gold. Oh, I'm annoyed I wasn't using this sooner. It's kind of a musical journey through history because a lot of this dance music has clear dubstep vibes, which is not as much a thing anymore, but was obviously a really big thing in the EDM scene in the mid-2010s, which is when all this music is coming from. Because for those of you who missed it, I sorted to go... I'm playing the older music because that way I can be sure it doesn't have AI crap all over it. Alright, we got his gold chains. Those gold chains do kind of fade, so for the third time I'm changing my mind. We're doing gold on the skeleton, at least unless I look at it and go, I don't like it. There we go. Yeah, that works. That works to balance it so the gold chain isn't the only gold on him. Of course, we'll wash all of this, and that will be the rust and grind that we desire. But he is a champion, and not just a champion, but Orlok Arms Masters are kind of the big important guys. The morale chiefs, if you were, so him having a little bit of gold on him. Saying, yo, I'm in charge. Don't run away. I'm pointing at you. You over there. Make your break check. Very thematic. Okay. Alright. Any other... Oh, is there any cleanup I need to do first? Probably need another layer of gold in that skull. Could probably put some brass on the shotgun. That wouldn't go amiss. Well, at the very least, I could... Yeah. And he is a champion, so he's probably going to be worth that effort. Because we want this guy to look good. So, well, first things first, let's do the stuff I know I need to do, which is... a third fin layer here to smooth that out. There we go. And then... Careful. Careful, SpongeBob. Careful, SpongeBob. There we go. And then you guys, you're the hard ones. Remember, whenever you're doing these, I'll use the flattier brush. Still messed up a little bit, but that's easily fixable. Boop, 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 boop. Okay. All right, there. Do some touch-up on some of the jacket parts that got a little silver on them where I don't want. Anything on the front there? Yes. Yes, you there. You there. I think that's it. Okay. Another layer of gold on that skull there. Make it nice and poppy. I think we will break out the brass. Oops. What the heck? There we go. Okay. Oh my. Yeah, I could do another layer of silver on this armor here, because it's a little sketchy. Smooth, flat surfaces don't always do well with that, even with the nicest metallics. Okay. Now the eyes, we do need to do our goggle blue on. We'll do that right now. We're almost out of time. I can go. I'll have to end dead at 3 today. But I do need to use the restroom and stuff for a record with Mitchell. Yeah. Yep. Here we go. That is blue gogglies. Okay. Blue gogglies, gold chain. Oh, I still gotta do the silver on his gloves. I forgot. Every time, right? Boop, 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 boop. Need more silver. Where'd I put it? Where'd you go? Oh, you know what? This is another guy I'm gonna have to rebase too. That's okay. I've got a base set aside for him. Alright, I've got just enough time to get this done. I complain, but this does really make the fingerless gloves pop. There we go. It's still not dry, which is a little concerning, actually. Lick some of this away. I do. Yeah. Yeah, you're not dry yet. We'll have to come back to you. That's odd. Not a huge issue, but odd. Okay, we'll let it dry for a couple seconds. We'll come back to it. Let's get your other hand for a second first. Ooh, this is a spiky glove. It's punching people. Spiky glove. There we go. Alright, spiky glove is now spiked. Alright, okay. And then last but not least... Oh, messed that up. It's okay, we'll cover it. Cover that later when it dries. Are you dry yet? Yes. Okay. All right, and that brings us right to the end of time. So, thank you so much for joining me, everybody. Had a fun time. Got our Orlock Armsmaster pretty much done. Just need to do one more thing, and then we'll shade him, and then come back to the highlights another round. Stay tuned this week. Obviously, we're going to get the actual new box and book in, and as soon as we do, we'll start posting about it with our fully formed opinions, or at least our first impressions. Eventually, we'll be doing a Secundus campaign. More on that later. As always, thank you so much for watching. If you want to talk to us more in real time, our Discord is linked below. It is free. If you want to throw some money at the channel, we also have a Patreon link below that is not free. Doesn't give you anything, but our thanks and our support for keeping the lights on. So, have a great day, everybody. Stay safe, warm or cold, however you need to be, and I will see you all next week. Goodbye.